From the mysterious, rusty-looking red planet, home of the solar system's most extreme geology and strange atmosphere, to a world we could possibly call home. It is no exaggeration when we say that Mars is the most observed celestial object besides our moon. Over the course of history, the planet Mars has been a subject of human curiosity. Now, what can we do in order to inhabit Mars and mark it as our second home? What have we discovered about this remarkable planet? In today's video, we are going to travel to the red planet and reveal everything we know about the planet, which is destined to host the next generations of humanity. Our journey to the red planet. Mars is a mesmerizing planet. The crimson celestial object has intrigued mankind ever since we started to examine the universe. Mars's most distinct feature, as noted by many astronomers all throughout the world, is its bloody color, which is why Roman astronomers named the planet Mars after the Roman god of war. In 1957, a new age in astronomy began, an era when space became accessible to humanity, and many astronomers hastily set their sights on the planet next to ours. Spaceflight has grown exponentially since humans first ventured into space, and in 1964, mankind launched the first ever probe, Mariner 4, to make a flyby and investigate the red planet for the very first time. The Mariner 4 delivered the very first close-up photos of the planet and revealed a Martian surface thickly covered with impact craters. However, scientists at that time were not satisfied with a mere flyby. They wanted to touch the Martian soil. And they did that in 1971 with the Mars 2 and 3 landers. Unfortunately, the Mars 3 lander was the only one to make a soft landing at the planet's surface. Since then, various missions have been sent to the red planet, from flybys to ambitious rovers, to accomplish a single unifying goal: to know everything about Mars. So, in decades of monitoring and sending spacecraft to Mars, what have we unraveled so far? What exactly do we know about the Martian planet inside the depths of the Crimson Planet? As time goes by, it seems that the planet Mars always has something new to offer. It never ceases to amaze our astronomers. Every spaceship that has been deployed to the red planet has discovered something new about this planet. So, where should we start our exploration? Let's take a trip to the deepest regions of Mars by studying what actually powers the planet within its core. In November 2018, NASA's InSight lander arrived at the Martian surface, and the probe has observed tiny Marsquakes that are rumbling across the planet since early 2019. Here on Earth, seismic waves can expose our planet's core structure if we monitor the change of speed and direction of the seismic waves that interacts with the boundaries at the core of our planet. InSight has done the same thing on Mars to measure and investigate the distinct layers of Mars with an array of seismographs, and the results left scientists in awe. The first thing they noticed was that the core of Mars is startlingly big, bigger than we imagined. Mars's core is a shocking 2,300 miles, 3,700 kilometers, broad in diameter. This equates to roughly 50% of Mars's diameter. Just like Earth's core, the Martian core is comprised mostly of an iron-nickel alloy and sulfur. The only difference is that Mars has a molten liquid core. Going up a little, we reach the Martian mantle. InSight seismographs showed that the mantle is primarily made up of silicon, oxygen, iron, and magnesium, and presumably has the consistency of a mushy, rocky paste. According to NASA, Mars's mantle is probably between 770 to 1,170 miles, 1,240 to 1,880 kilometers deep. Next, right up there near to the mantle, lies the ever-fascinating crust and surface of Mars. Buckle up, because we are going to let you know what we have discovered on the Martian surface. The wonders of Mars's surface. One of the most distinct features of Mars is its reddish hue, giving it somewhat of a menacing look. This is because the soil, rocks, and dust that cover the planet are made of iron oxide, which gives the surface a red, rusty color. Compared to Earth, Mars is substantially smaller, at around 4,217 miles, 6,768 kilometers in diameter. This makes Mars the second smallest planet in the whole solar system after Mercury. Its gravity is different too. If you are planning to live on Mars, prepare for a gravity that is about 37% less than the gravity here on Earth. This means that you could jump 3 times higher on the Martian surface. Now, if you get the chance to live on Mars, the duration of a day is fairly comparable to that on Earth, at around 24 hours and 37 minutes. However, as it is farther away from the sun, a year on Mars normally takes 687 days or 1.9 Earth years. Don't worry though, because if Mars becomes habitable, we're sure a year on Mars will be extremely eventful, as there are a lot of spots that could be identified as tourist destinations, like the largest volcano in the entire solar system, Olympus Mons. Olympus Mons is the biggest of the 4 shield volcanoes on Mars, collectively named the Tharsis Montes. Olympus Mons has a mind-boggling diameter of 374 miles, 624 kilometers, which is about the same size as the state of Arizona, and it is also 16 miles, 25 kilometers high, making it 3 times as high as Mount Everest. From Mars's tallest volcano to its biggest and widest basin, Hellas Planitia. This basin is located at the southern hemisphere of the planet. This ancient impact crater has a diameter of nearly 1,428 miles, 2,229 kilometers, and is 4.44 miles, 7.15 kilometers deep. When we venture near to the poles of Mars, we can observe that the planet also has north and south poles, exactly like the Earth. The polar ice caps are coated in a layer of frozen carbon dioxide or dry ice. However, the biggest revelation about the planet emerged lately, a finding that transformed our outlook on Mars. Scientists at NASA have revealed geologic evidence of massive outflow channels carved by floods, ancient river valley networks, deltas, and lake beds, even with the detection of rocks and minerals on the surface that could only have developed in liquid water. Mars was once not as dry as it is today. If there was liquid water present on this planet in its history, life might be present on Mars. But what about the atmosphere of Mars? Can we survive with the atmosphere the red planet has? Mars' dusty atmosphere. Earth's atmosphere makes it possible for humanity to survive on the planet. It is thick enough to protect us from the damaging rays of the sun. But what about the Martian atmosphere? When you gaze up while on the surface of Mars, you'll definitely see the 2 moons of Mars, Deimos and Phobos. But what you can't see is the extremely thin atmosphere of Mars. When I say extremely thin, it is not an exaggeration. It is actually 100 times thinner than the atmosphere of Earth. In fact, it is so thin that it is not sufficient to absorb the sun's heat, making the planet colder, ranging from -148 degrees Fahrenheit, -100 degrees Celsius in winter, to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius in summer. Mars's thin atmosphere is primarily made up of 95.9% carbon dioxide, 2.7% nitrogen, and a small percentage of argon and oxygen gases. And it's extremely dusty too, thanks to the billions of years of weathering and tremendous amounts of wind-driven storms. Because of the red planet's sparse atmosphere, the water that was formerly present on the surface didn't last in its liquid state and is now located below the surface as ice. Now, the remaining issue is, can we survive in this type of atmosphere? The short answer is no, not without suitable equipment. Mars' atmosphere is made of extremely little oxygen, and if you try to breathe without a spacesuit on, you would die in an instant. Nevertheless, we are spending billions of dollars as humanity to visit Mars and make it habitable. Scientists expect that humans can colonize the red planet by 2050. We are on our way to conquer Mars and may finally declare ourselves an interplanetary species. Mars will be our second home.